The mahogany-paneled boardroom of First Heritage Bank carried its usual echo of polished arrogance as our family gathered for the annual trust meeting. Every Harrison occupied their traditional seat. Designer suits, luxury watches, and smug entitlement all on display. I took my place at the far end of the table. My deliberately simple clothes stood out like a thrift store bird among peacocks dripping in privilege. "Before we start," Dad said, adjusting his Patek Philippe, "let's go over any issues regarding the trust fund this year." All eyes turned to me as expected. My reckless investments in tech startups had been their favorite subject ever since I quit my comfortable consulting job 3 years ago. "My portfolio's doing fine," I replied quietly, glancing at my phone as a notification appeared. Series C funding complete. Valuation up 300%. Fine indeed. Caroline let out a sharp laugh, her Hermes scarf falling perfectly in place. "Fine. You've wasted your quarterly allowance on what, video games?" Those so-called video games had just transformed the future of artificial intelligence. Not that they'd know for another 20 minutes. "She's right," Uncle Richard added, his tone thick with condescension. His wealth management career practically oozed superiority. "Real investments are intangible assets, blue chips, bonds, things that hold value." My phone buzzed again. Markets reacting early. Tech sector moving fast. I turned to Caroline with feigned innocence. "How's your fashion app's next funding round coming along?" She smirked. "We're finalizing terms with major investors, unlike some people's pipe dreams." If only she knew those major investors were my shell companies, intentionally slowing her progress while I completed my real work. Mr. Patterson, our longtime financial advisor, cleared his throat. "Perhaps we should review everyone's portfolio performance." "Excellent idea," Mom said, her pearls gleaming. "Caroline's up 12% this quarter. Richard's bond fund gained 8%. And her tone softened. "Emily, dear, your technology ventures are performing as expected." Another alert flashed on my screen. AI integration complete. Market opens in 20 minutes. "As expected?" Richard chuckled. "You mean losing money hand over fist?" "Patience," I said mildly, thinking of the offshore accounts holding my actual fortune. "Innovation takes time." Dad exhaled, the same weary sigh he always used when discussing my finances. "Emily, we're just worried. The trust fund was meant to secure your future, not bankroll some Silicon Valley fantasy." My phone lit up again. Final verification complete. Market announcement authorized. Mr. Patterson connected his laptop to the conference screen. "Let's look at the numbers objectively." Caroline interrupted, brushing imaginary lint off her Chanel blazer. "My fashion platform's up 12% year over year, and we're projecting a $50 million valuation after Series A." $50 million? I finished for her, hiding a smile. One of my smallest AI subsidiaries passed that before breakfast. "Now, Emily's portfolio," Mr. Patterson continued, frowning as he clicked through encrypted files. "The technology exposure here is concerning." Richard leaned forward, gold cufflinks glinting. "How much has she lost this quarter?" "500,000, wait." Mr. Patterson squinted. "Some of these holdings are encrypted. I can't access them." My phone pulsed. 10 minutes until market open. Systems primed. "They're probably her failed startups," Aunt Margaret whispered loudly. Poor girl never grasped real business. The irony of that statement would be crystal clear in exactly 9 minutes and 30 seconds. "Speaking of real business," Dad cut in, "the family's traditional assets have performed well. Our manufacturing portfolio." Another alert interrupted. "Global AI systems detecting massive pre-market activity. Quantum link stabilizing." "Emily," Mom said, her voice trembling slightly, "maybe you should let Uncle Richard manage your portion of the trust. He has the experience." "That won't be necessary," I replied evenly. "My portfolio's about to speak for itself." "About to?" Caroline scoffed. "What are your imaginary companies about to?" The conference screens flickered. My quantum systems were quietly replacing the bank's outdated infrastructure. Mr. Patterson's assistant burst in, pale-faced. "Sir, something's happening in the markets. Every trading terminal." My phone showed a countdown. "NYSE opening in 5 minutes." Global AI integration at 100%. What do you mean every terminal? Mr. Patterson muttered, fingers flying across his keyboard. These readings can't be right. Emily, Dad snapped. What did you do? I smiled slightly. Just revolutionized global finance. But you might want to wait for the official announcement. The screens shifted to breaking news. Global markets brace for major AI breakthrough. Unknown company to disrupt finance. Caroline's manicured hand trembled as she stared at her phone. What unknown company? Mine, I said simply. The one you all called a waste of money. Within seconds, the screens exploded with headlines. TechCOR Global unveils revolutionary AI trading system. Market cap surpasses $1 trillion. Quantum computing redefines global finance. Mr. Patterson gaped at my now unlocked portfolio. This can't be right, he stammered. It says your net worth is $13.2 billion, I finished for him. Though that's already outdated. The market's been open for 2 minutes. Dad's Patek Philippe slipped off his wrist as he clutched the table. Billion? But your trust fund was seed money, I said calmly, watching headlines scroll. TechCOR AI now controls 30% of global trading. Unknown founder becomes world's youngest tech billionaire. Caroline's face had gone pale. That's you. Yes, I confirmed. Those computer games you mocked? They were quantum AI prototypes. And the wasteful startups? They now control more market share than the top 5 investment banks combined. Uncle Richard's credentials suddenly seemed like relics of another age. But traditional investing is dead, I interrupted. I tried to tell you last Christmas, remember? Right before your lecture on real finance. The door burst open. The bank's head of security looked panicked. Mr. Patterson, every global trading system is being overtaken by some kind of quantum AI. My kind, I corrected smoothly, expanding the holographic display. The same tech you all dismissed as science fiction last year. Mom shook her head, pearls rattling. Your little coding projects did this? Those projects, I said, watching another trillion flow through my systems, just rebuilt global finance. Mr. Patterson stared at the numbers, disbelief etched across his face. And this, I added, revealing classified data, is just the public side of TechCOR. Caroline's phone vibrated again, her major investors pulling out one by one. My shell companies, I explained softly, no longer see potential in her brand. Aunt Margaret clutched her handbag. Our investments being revalued as we speak, I said. Brace yourselves. New headlines appeared. Traditional banking declared obsolete. Quantum revolution redefines global markets. Ms. Harrison, came a voice through my phone, my chief of research, formerly disguised as a junior analyst. Integration exceeded projections. Wall Street is requesting immediate adoption. Wall Street. Dad croaked. What happened to your small tech company? It disrupted global finance, I said, activating another data stream. Those simulations you mocked? They now manage trillion-dollar trading flows. Mr. Patterson's access credentials had already been quantum encrypted. Nothing's working, he muttered. Because everything now runs on TechCOR architecture, I replied. The migration happened at market open, right when Uncle Richard called me irresponsible. Richard's face turned ashen. My wealth management clients. We'll adapt, I said, smiling faintly. I even offered to teach you quantum finance last Thanksgiving, remember? The displays showed TechCOR processing more transactions in seconds than banks did in months. Every trade, every decision, all running through the technology they'd laughed at. Ms. Harrison, my assistant, called, the Federal Reserve and SEC chairman are on hold, and your family's investment manager may be hyperventilating. Tell them, I said, glancing at my watch. Traditional banking ended about 45 minutes ago. The afternoon sun poured through the windows as my family sat frozen in disbelief. Below us, TechCOR's quantum systems reshaped the world. Now, I said, bringing up more holographic screens, let's move to the real reason for today's meeting. There's more, Caroline whispered, her luxury outfit suddenly cheap in the new reality. Much more. The screens erupted with fresh headlines. TechCOR expands beyond finance. AI empire spans global industries. My chief strategy officer entered, once a simple bank teller, now head of industrial integration. The aerospace division's ahead of schedule, she said. Aerospace. Dad echoed weakly. I activated another layer of displays. Remember those wasteful manufacturing startups? They're now the world's most advanced automated factories. The foolish aerospace projects? They just revolutionized satellite systems. Richard's mouth hung open. But traditional industries are being rewritten, I cut in. Those old factories you mocked? They're now quantum-managed production networks that make traditional manufacturing prehistoric. Breaking news confirmed it. TechCOR's global manufacturing network announced. Traditional industry declared obsolete. Mr. Patterson could barely speak. Your portion of the trust, that was only the beginning, I said. While you all track my trust pennies, I was generating entire economies through quantum cryptocurrency systems you didn't even know existed. Mom's voice cracked. But when? How? Those weekends you said I was wasting? I smiled. I was creating financial instruments that made your banks irrelevant. Another wave of alerts rolled in. TechCOR expands into energy sector. Global supply chains rebuilt overnight. Ms. Harrison, said my operations director, energy grid integration complete. Family Energy Holdings showing extreme volatility. Of course, I replied. Because 3 minutes ago, TechCOR's quantum AI took control of 40% of global power distribution. Caroline went pale. What about Mark's nuclear contracts? Obsolete, I said flatly. Our fusion reactors went online this morning. Infinite, clean power. Your husband's plants are already collapsing. News banners confirmed it. Revolutionary fusion technology unveiled. Traditional energy markets in chaos. Middle Eastern oil ministers are requesting emergency meetings, my energy division head reported. Dad's hands shook as he checked his phone. The family's energy portfolio, I said evenly, is worthless. I tried to warn you last year before you sank another billion into oil. Mr. Patterson was desperately calling colleagues, none of whom could help. Their world had vanished in under an hour. And before you ask, I added, those ridiculous solar projects? They're now quantum-enhanced collectors that make traditional panels look like candles.